Okay, very often on this program we dissect surveys and polls to gauge where we're at as a country politically, socially. But it doesn't get much bigger as the survey known as the census. And you can't do that conglomeration of statistics justice in just a few days of news coverage. And you've heard a little bit about what the census has said. But that is why I've asked the co-founder of the demographics group onto the show tonight to pinpoint crucial areas of change in this country, especially in terms of religion and wealth. Simon Kuestenmacher from the demographics group joins me right now. Simon, thank you very much for your time. Have we killed off religious adherence in this country, have we?
Not quite yet. So at the last census count, we had 39% of all Australians saying that they have no religious affiliation whatsoever. So that's up from 30% 5 years ago. That's up from 22% a decade ago. At this rate, by 2028, we will be a majority atheistic or at least non-religiously aligned country. That, of course, is bad news for everyone running a church, running any kind of religious service. But it is also difficult for the country because we need to think through where social cohesion, where social glue will come from in a country where religion doesn't do the job, where there is a bit of a political divide happening. So we want to think about what does actually unite us as a nation. And I always come back to the power of sports. Rich and poor, atheists and believers, we all hate and love the same sporting teams and athletes. And that actually goes a long way in providing a bit of social glue in Australia.
OK, you follow these patterns very closely when we're not reading censuses. Why has this occurred?
Well, the first thing is a long-standing trend towards a most postmodern world where everything tends to be dissected, tends to be deconstructed. So it's a general trend away from religion anyways. And then we've seen an additional shift in the short term because at the last census, quite a few of the millennials were still, which is the largest generation in Australia, were still living at home. So most likely their mom or dad filled out the census form. And if mom and dad are still Anglican or Catholic or Buddhist, they would have ticked the same form for their kids. And as kids move out of home and fill out their first census form in their own right, then you will see another boost in non-belief.
That's interesting. So what you're saying is, too, what we've established in 5 years is the movement from home of the millennials.
Yes, very much so.
OK. Now, despite what we keep hearing about wages stagnation, Simon, the census tells us that Australian wages have actually performed well against inflation, right?
Exactly. And this is where it gets a bit technical. So what we're measuring here is household income. So this is the income that a household has. And what has happened in Australia over the last 5 years is that the baby boomers have not retired yet at scale. So their high household incomes are still in the data set. The millennials have slowly started to form households. So you had a single millennial moving in with another single millennial. Bam, you push two $90,000 incomes into one household, and you created, instead of two $90,000 household incomes, you have one household income that already scratches the top tax bracket. So that's what's happening at the millennium end. It's very good to know this from a marketing perspective if you're a business, because it means that households now have more cash. But does it mean that the individual wages have risen? It actually does not mean that, unfortunately.